Alrighty guys, we're back for some Bant Soldiers, and this is a Phyrexia all will be one standard brew. We're going to go over the deck then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, for anyone who may not know, I'm Red Cat and I play aggro decks and any decks with red in them as well, so I hope that sounds fun to you. Also, we do got that Discord link down in the description if you're interested in joining that up. Okay, what do we got in the build here? First of all, why splash green in here? Well, King Darien. This is a 3 mana 2/3 legendary creature. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. Or for 3, a green and a white, you can put a +1/+1 counter on King Darien and create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Okay, that could come in handy. Not too often though, but or you can sacrifice King Darien. Creature tokens you control get hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Okay, well that's pretty good because we have a lot of ways to generate tokens in this build as well. But it's mainly in here because, you know, it is a soldier that buffs your entire field, which is going to be huge in here. So what else do we got? We got 4 Yotian Frontliners, naturally. We got 3 Recruitment Officers and making space for a single Skrelv. Being able to give hexproof from a color is pretty powerful, but it also does pair well with one of our toxic creatures in here, Jawbone Duelist. Now, this is not a toxic or a poison deck by any means, but I still like having the one of Skrelv to be able to protect something when it comes time. Jawbone Duelist is a Phyrexian soldier, which is kind of insane. So it's a 2 mana 1/1, toxic 1, and then what really pushes it over the edge for the build is, of course, that double strike. So since it's a soldier, you're using cards like Valiant Veteran to buff this. You're using cards like Frontliner when you swing in to buff this. And then this double strike just gets to the point, it's just a little bit ridiculous, honestly. And then, of course, you could always go turn 2 Duelist into a turn 3 King Darien. Same concept. You're buffing all of your creatures then. So that double strike gets out of hand very, very fast. Of course, we're rocking 3 Thalias in here, not going to slow us down one bit. It's going to slow the opponents down, though. We have 3 Harbin, Vanguard, Aviators. This is a 2 mana 3/2 that we see all the time in the Azora Soldiers. It's actually kind of insane. I always forget that it also gives +1/+1. I always think it's just flying. So let me read it real quick, actually. It's whenever you attack with 5 or more soldiers, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain flying until end of turn, which is just disgusting, man. So, of course, rocking all 4 Brutal Cathars as our main source of removal. We got 4 Siege Veterans, a great way to get creature tokens out there, which of course works well with the King Darien as well. Just being able to buff things. I mean, look, we're putting +1/+1 counters. Can you guess? Yep, Jawbone Duelist. That's right. Double strike just getting even more out of hand. And then we also know how powerful it is to put counters onto like Thalia because first strike can be absolutely disgusting. We have 3 Skystrike Officers, lots of 3 drops in here, but I think the Skystrike Officers are definitely going to be worth it. I considered only running 2, but it happens to be just a very powerful card that can run away with a game on its own, and another way to get creature tokens as well. And yep, going wide in this deck is going to be huge. Top end, of course, a couple Myrels, another way to go wide, just a very powerful soldier that we see all the time. A couple Plaza of Heroes, I think it's going to do a lot. We have what? We have Skrelv as a legendary, we have Thalia, Harbin, King Darien, and the Myrels. It's actually a good chunk of legendary creatures, so Plaza of Heroes is going to do a lot. Then it has that bottom ability where you can pay 3, tap it, exile Plaza. Target legendary creature gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn, so that is pretty solid too. The rest of the mana base is nightmare fuel, I suppose. Just a bunch. It's not a random configuration, but it is a mess of a configuration of dual lands. And I'm actually opting for all 4 Fortified Beachhead because I think it's going to be a little bit better than the Wastes, but it really depends what you have too. Like, if you don't want to craft all 4 Fortified Beachhead, I think the Waste will be just fine. But in this deck in particular, everything except for the Skrelv is a soldier, so it's going to come in untapped like all the time. I can't imagine this hitting tapped unless it's turn 12 and the opponent's already won at that point if you got to turn 12, so... Anyways, guys, yeah, I thought about the mana base for a while. Hopefully I landed on something good. One of the other benefits of running green is being able to rock the Who Endures to be able to hit enchantments or artifacts as well as non-basic lands too, so nice. Soaring City, Seat of the Empire, and the rest is filled out with plains. Honorable mentions. Dennick could be pretty cool. I like that it's another legendary. I like the lifelink on here a lot. Soul Partition would be terrific removal in here since everything is going to be very fast-paced anyways. It does slow down the Thalia a little bit, but we only have 3 Thalias. It's really something to consider for sure. And then Resolute Reinforcements. I said it a few times, going wide in a deck like this is going to be huge, but I couldn't find room for Resolute Reinforcements this time, so yeah, but this is definitely an honorable mention, you know? Alright guys, that's the list. Enough rambling for what is essentially just Azora soldiers with a splash of King Darien, so let's go ahead, take it into some ranked, and see how we do. We got right into that first match, guys. I'm expecting a lot from the build. However, we have been winning a lot this week. The last 2 decks I played was Orzhov Toxic and Mono Black Rats, and we won a ton in those videos, so I'm a little bit afraid right about now. Coast and Mite. This is one of those decks where we're actually going to want to think about what lands we're playing each turn too. Like next turn it'll be Beachhead into Frontliner. Kamano, okay. Brutal Cathar is a good draw. And we might as well reveal the Frontliner as well. We'll get that down, and I think we'll get the Toxic Fall rolling instead of keeping the Skrelv open to protect Frontliner. I think that's completely fine. Yeah, having no 2-drop there is 100% fine. Couple amazing 3-drops. Brutal Cathar gets picked up by pretty much everything in mono red, so... Oh, speaking of getting picked up by everything in mono red, and the festivities wiping our board is brutal stuff. Commando flips next turn. Hitting the Phoenix Chick wouldn't be too bad here, though. Alright. We know that Brutal Cathar is probably going to get burnt, but Siege Veteran going up to 3 is just a lightning strike. It seems a little worse. Okay. So we'll take the 4. So Brutal Cathar is safe for the turn. I think that was fine, right? I think so. Who Endures is going to come down. Even though it could hit the Etching, we don't really want them to see their 3rd mana. I'd rather be able to play 2 things this turn. Yeah, overall, it's a pretty slow hand, especially for going up against mono red. And anywhere we plug this, we want to make sure. It's going to be Frontliner. Here's why. We'll be able to block... Oh, the exile off of Etching. Crap. Crap, yeah. Etching exiles, so Siege Veteran is particularly bad here too. Do we just take the 4? Or do we... I guess we'll take care of Etching and not worry. I think that's fine. We don't want to block the Feldon here. Swift Spear and Play with Fire would have happened first. A Cacophony Scamp, huh? Okay. Interesting. Second Siege Veteran could be huge for us. Now that the Etching's gone, whenever something else dies. So how do we want to do this then? How do we want to do this? We could go double into the Cathar. And then if they end up... So if we end up blocking with Cathar, and they end up killing it with something else in their hand, then we're gonna get 2 1/1s. I don't know, we're in a sticky situation, guys. We really are. I wonder if the Cathar was the right hit there. Yeah, Mechanized Warfare. We still get a great block here. And here, but then they get to poke one of the Siege Veterans. Or they could also hit the Cathar, and then we get a bunch of 1/1s though. I love the Cacophony Scamp edition. It's definitely brutal. I really don't want them to get the Phoenix chick back. But it's like I said, we're in a sticky situation. Let's just see what they end up doing. They might end up pinging one of the Siege Veterans instead. They end up not hitting a Siege Veteran. And now if we could buff this board state. Hey, look at us, guys. Woo, buddy, look at us. Phoenix chick cannot block. That is 10. That is it. That is it. Full swing. Wow. Holy cow. What a first game, huh? King Darien. I honestly don't even know how to pronounce. I pronounce his name different every time I play him. King Darien. Bro, I don't even know. What a match, guys. Wow. Wow. Really seeing the Siege Veteran do something amazing there, too. I mean, woo, buddy. That was fun. It was a great first one. I'm really waiting for Arena to humble me, though. Like, this week we've been winning a lot. Like, a lot more than we have been winning for the last couple months, ever since the new set released, really. It's just been constant uphill battles, but so we don't have a turn 2 with Harbin, but I think this hand is completely keepable. We have our turn 1 Frontliner and our turn 2 Duelist, which is really good. Getting that established onto the board is huge. Okay, Duelist hits, and technically we should have swung first since it doesn't affect combat, but it's fine because the opponent was tapped out. Good practice, though. Land off the top would be great for us. Nice. Ask and you shall receive. Siege Veteran is probably the go-to, but whatever we play here eats a counter. So I also wouldn't mind just trying the Recruitment Officer and playing nothing else. Nah. Siege Veteran getting a counter's fine. It could also just be spot removal, so getting this onto the board and start buffing stuff, yeah, it might just be spot removal for the Duelist. Which I think is completely fine. And we get a 1/1 here too. That's great. I mean, it's not great, obviously, but it's not terrible. By any means. Playing the Who Endures out as our green source is pretty bad for a deck that only needs one green source on the board, so we can't do two things like the Harbin and stuff. The Ward 1 prevents us from dropping the Brutal Cathar on that, so that's pretty bad. If we buff the Frontliner, we might be able to get some damage through here if we let them block the Soldier. Oh no, this is how we do it, never mind. I wasn't completely thinking that through, because now we buff this, and now they might just take the 6, honestly, but because they don't know if we have a Seat of the Empire. We don't have a Legendary on the board, so we'd still have to pay the ward cost, though, so. Alright, it's going to be Harbin, and like I said, this is where that green source as the Who Endures is holding us back a little bit, because going wide with an Officer while they were tapped out would have been much, much better. That's okay, though. 3-color deck. Mana's going to hold you back sometimes, so. Swing, and let's see if they end up giving this a counter. If they don't, we have a block. Pretty sure they do, though. Okay, we take the 2, and oh, they pay the 1. Oh, that's risky. Oh, buddy. Nice, it's a tapped land, too. Alright, let's pick up that. Let's pick up that Gix. Get the swing ready here. Where do we want to plug this? Do we go wide with it? Actually gonna go Frontliner again. I like that. Okay, down to 3. We're nice and wide. Opponent could drop a board wipe. They could. Another Brutal Cathar would be good off the top, but it still doesn't hit the Rafine because of the Ward 1. Whenever you attack with 5 or more soldiers, we have 5 soldiers on the board, but this is the type of deck that runs spot removal, so... Thalia's a good blocker. Definitely a good blocker. They keep 3 open. The extra mana is completely fine here. Could actually go Myrel and make them do whatever they have here before Myrel hits the board. I think it's Siege Veteran and Recruitment Officer. Because that lets us get the Brutal Cathar above the Thalia range. And yeah, so... And now that they're both on the board, if they're going to be opting for other removal and stuff. And see, if they let us swing here, then... Now we're going to spread this out. If they let us swing, then everything's getting flying too, so the Thalia's not going to block. They need to hit something before the swing. Cathar, they take 2 down to 1. That is just not going to do it. We just full swing regardless. And we'll buff, I guess buff wide, right? Yeah, they only have 3 blockers. None of them have lifelink or anything. GG opponent. Wow, GG. So far? Oh, heck yeah, I had fun. So far, so good for Bant soldiers. It's, like I said, it's just Azora soldiers with the splash of King, and if every time we see King, we love it, then we might want to talk about going up to 3 of them. I feel like 3 might be pushing it, then you'd have to drop like a Skystrike Officer, or you really don't want to drop the Siege Veteran. From what I can tell, Siege Veteran does a lot with the build. Actually played a little bit with this build outside of the video too, like last week or so, and it was pretty solid as well. Oh, 26 seconds. Where is everyone? Oh no, guys. That might have been the longest wait we've ever waited on a video. No, never mind. We used to play Alchemy. I used to have to completely edit the Alchemy videos because of how long it took. I don't necessarily like the hand, but I don't mind it either. It's a weird hand. Maybe it's not as weird as I'm thinking. Alright, we'll go ahead and get that down. Rot Priest is pretty scary, especially since they went first. Yep, already got the poison rolling. We might want to get Thalia down against this deck. Over the Duelist here. I believe the problem with Thalia, or pretty much any, well, yeah, fight spells, at least Thalia would still hit Rot Priest if it is like a full fight. But if it's like just do damage, that would be pretty good, honestly. Pay all 3 of their mana. Do the 1 damage from the Rot Priest. Sentry hits Thalia. Brutal Cathar hits Sentry. That could be good. Suit of the Empire is pretty solid, I would say. I love the double Veteran. It's good business. At least we have the Thalia back, and it might prevent something here. Another Annex Sentry could hit, though, too. I would love to get the Myrel down, too. There's a reason it's only 2 of on the top end. Sometimes it just doesn't do as much as your 2 drops and such. Pick up the Thalia, swing with Rot Priest. How do we want to do this, guys? If we just start going wide instead, maybe we could actually prevent some of this. Harbin blocks really well. Veteran Jawbone Duelist is pretty great too. If we just drop Myrel, it doesn't get hit by Annex Sentry and it blocks well. Maybe it's a Myrel play. Plus, I really wanted to play this anyways, so let's get it down. If we see a land off the top, we could go Cathar into the Annex again. Oh, more spot removal. Another Soul Partition. I love the Soul Partition addition in the Selesnya Toxic builds, guys, because it's such a fast deck already that the opponents won't get a chance to actually recast these usually. See, we're already at 5 Toxic, and we've barely done anything this game. So, it's really something to think about. Now if we hit Sentry, I love the second Thalia here. I do. I think we're in trouble. I think we're in some serious trouble, and the reason we go Thalia is to stop them from using things with their Rot Priest to wrap up the game, or make it much more expensive to use things off their Rot Priest. The first strike on Thalia is great. If we double down on Veteran next turn, we can make it so that way they can't swing with their Annex into the Thalia. Just a lot of stuff to consider. Either way, if we see our 5th mana, we don't go Cathar unless we want to hit the Rot Priest instead of the Annex. Unless they take out our Thalia with something. Crap, that's bad. We still have a block with our Harbin. Do we want to do it, or do we want to think that they have something here? We could double block the Sentry. Get our Thalia back. If they have something, that would be so bad, though. Either way, if they have something, I would rather try to hit the Rot Priest. Take 1 up to 6 Toxic. It's got to be protection. It's got to be. I think it's an uphill battle regardless, so I think we have to try it. We don't want to take 2 more Toxic, because even if they do have that protection, they could still just do that anytime and use the Rot Priest ability to get the rest of the poison through. Tyvar stand. That's 6. We lose the Harbin. 7 poison. It's tough, guys. It's tough. So far, they've had a lot of what they needed, and just a couple of Soul Partitions go a very long way in those fast builds. Plaza of Heroes. See, now that we still have the Thalia, now it doesn't make too much sense to hit that Sentry, and if we pay all the mana just to hit a Rot Priest, they still have this Slaughter Singer buffing everything on their board when they're swinging through, making it almost impossible. So what we're going to do is we're going to double down on the Veterans and hope that that's enough to ward them off for a turn. But they still have 1 card in hand. Well, 2 cards because they get a draw, so... It depends, man. It depends. I think one of the big setbacks was actually me playing the Myrel, taking the entire turn, and then it immediately got the Soul Partition. Yes, we did hold them back for a turn. That could be huge. We can Brutal Cathar the Contaminator. Which I think we actually do. I love the Skystrike Officer here, but having a 4/4 Brutal Cathar is terrific. No great swings. They're not looking for much, man. They just need to get 3 poison through. They really aren't looking for much, but we could potentially pull this back. Was it the Contaminator, or did we actually want to hit the Slaughter Singer? No, it was Contaminator. Well, not necessarily. We have the first strike Thalia. Oh, now I'm second guessing. It might have been Slaughter Singer. Maybe not, maybe not. Okay, nice. We're going to actually switch it back today and take something else too. Razorverge Thicket. It's going to hit that board. The question is, when do we start swinging? And when are we no longer in defense mode? Switch it back today, hit the Singer. When are we no longer in defense mode? Probably once we can start swinging with the Skystrike Officer. Because if we swing with Thalia on the ground and they find removal for a Veteran, then we're going to be forced to block in really awkward ways. So I'd rather keep Thalia for now. Never mind. Since it's going back to daytime, we're going to hit something with the Brutal Cathar. Ah, yeah, but then it's not like the cards have haste, so they do end up removing it. I think this is fine. So, hear me out. First of all, you wanted to swing with Thalia before playing out the creatures. I didn't fully think that through, and then I decided after the fact to swing. So if we had like cards open in hand, so they took the 4 anyway, so it didn't end up mattering, but yeah, if we had cards open in hand, it potentially would have changed what they ended up doing. So we want to hit the Slaughter Singer. Actually, Rot Priest seems a bit better because we don't want them to end with whatever they just have in hand, which it looks like they might be able to still. Soul Partition on their own Rot Priest. Nice. That's a 3rd Soul Partition. I feel like that's pretty lucky at this point. Oh, they dropped the Concede though. I guess we just had too much value. I guess they wanted to see what was on top of the deck. I'm shocked by the Concede. We have 8 poison, guys. I was going to cost them, what, 2 to replay? Sorry, 3? No. It would have cost them 1. A spell cast by an opponent this way cost 2 more. So they hit their own card with the Soul Partition, which means the Rot Priest was only 1 mana. They play the Rot Priest. Maybe they only had land in hand. I don't know, man. 8 poison, though? I don't think I would have dropped the Concede, but I guess I understand. We had a lot going on the board. We were going to start swinging with Skystrike Officer. We were going to start drawing with the Skystrike Officer as well. Yeah, let's keep going. We're 26 minutes in, and the deck is feeling good so far. Feeling about where you'd expect it to be, you know what I mean? And yeah, maybe we want to consider one more King Darien, one more could do a thing, and it makes sense to have at least 3 cards that you're splashing the green for, but oh, don't forget, I mean, obviously we're splashing green for the Who Endures land as well, so that's something, I guess. We have a turn 1 Skrelv, turn 2 Jawbone Duelist, turn 3 Siege Veteran. Look at this hand. Oh, buddy. Oh no, mono red. I feel like mono red is favored, right? Even though we beat a mono red today already, I feel like overall mono red is favored. We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna get Fortified Beachhead down. And then Jawbone Duelist. Oh wow. Bloodthirsty Adversary, nice. Harbin. Ooh, Harbin. Harbin blocks Phoenix Chick well. Dies to everything in the deck. Dies to everything. So does Jawbone Duelist, though, let's be real. So if we go Harbin, we can give it protection from red. No, it's just hexproof. I gotta remember that. It's not full protection. But the hexproof from a burn spell in their hand could be huge. We take 2 damage, though, if we do that. It might be worth it. It might be. So, yeah, no swing that time, unfortunately. Oh, buddy. All right. I'll do it. I'll do it. We'll call red. Hexproof. That's so much. That's so... Oh! Really? Opponent? Oh, come on. It had to still, like, I'm pretty sure this is still leaning towards red, right? Like, overall, a deck like this versus mono red aggro? I don't know, man. That was interesting. So yeah, Skrelv again. So it's you choose a color, it gets the toxic one and hexproof from that color, and then it can't be blocked by creatures of that color. So it's not like full protection where you won't take damage. Like if I blocked the Phoenix Chick and the Phoenix Chick was somehow doing 2 damage, that still would have happened. I'm pretty shocked though. They were gonna be able to swing with this and keep their Phoenix Chick back, and we would have been down to 12 already because we took 2 damage from the Skrelv's ability. I don't know, man. I mean, I'll take the victory, though. Don't get me wrong. It's been great to be winning this much this week. Feels good. I'm just seriously waiting for the game to humble me, waiting for the massive loss streak or something. Oh, jeez. All right, let's see. Decent hand. No blue source, but Plaza of Heroes acts as a blue for at least Harbin. Sure, we'll give it a shot. We start with the plains, I would say. Well, yeah, that's fine. Depends what we draw to, I suppose. Because, wait, yeah, who was going first? I wasn't paying attention. I really should pay attention. Whoever goes first sometimes decides whether or not it's a mulligan hand too, but I just feel like this wasn't a mulligan hand overall. Looks like we're going first, because they're still on the mulligan. So yeah, we start with the plains, I would say, over the Plaza. Plaza next turn, unless we draw something else. Darien's terrific. Let's go with the Thalia then, make sure we stop potential removal from them, or make it cost 2 for a cut down. Rot Priest, ew. More double Rot Priest. Oh my goodness, that is gross, man. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get that Who Endures down, okay? Could still double down. Do we swing? Do we swing with this Thalia and try to take out one of the Rot Priests? Or do we wait and potentially die next turn? I don't think we'll die, but you never know. We have a second Thalia in hand, though. All right, yeah, we swing. I should have kept the Frontliner in hand. I think they just take this 3, though, to not lose any of the Rot Priest. Like, double Rot Priest on the board could be such a huge tempo swing in their favor. Then we should have played Frontliner on main phase 2. I haven't been, like, thinking through some of these swings, which is why I've just been running everything onto the board first. Wow. They keep 3 mana open. We might want to keep the Soaring City in hand. Go King Darien here. Full swing. This might just be a counterspell too. Running into a counterspell isn't too bad, because at least the Rot Priests aren't doing anything this turn then. Well, potentially. They do have that 3 mana. Okay. This is a solid board state to say the least, guys. Full swing, buff the Valiant Veteran to a 4/4. Well, if we do that... No, yeah, we do it. We take all the risks here. Gotta pull no punches against a deck that could just win outright next turn with double Rot Priest, right? Because they could... There's probably a lot they could muster up here. Forced to block, give it Hexproof Indestructible probably, right? Could go Tyvar's Stand for 2, doesn't do much because we have First Strike, so they do 0. Oh, also, it costs more because of Thalia. Poison. What's this do again? Oh, that's right, that protects the creature tokens. Kind of forgot about that. So the Rot Priest sticks around and we get 7 damage through, and we really need to pretty much win next turn. Which makes me wonder if we play the Soaring City as a land. I say no. Because there's a thing where we might need the 5 mana, but I don't think so. Like the counter on the King Darien. Alright, here we go. Are we dead? Let's see it, opponent. Let's see it. They have 2 mana open. Oh, well, everything makes... Like, Thalia makes it cost 1 more, so... They're gonna grab another Rot Priest from the build. And they target the Ivy. They grab another Ivy, at least it's legendary. Wait, did they decline there? So they have the other Rot Priest. I mean, that could they not target the Ivy? Oh yeah, because it costs too much there. So we block with the King Darien. GG opponent. Let's go, guys. Oh my goodness. We are rocking it right now with these builds. Guys, you know what? I'm going to end there on a high note. We're 35 minutes in, and I want to talk a little bit about the build, and I think we played 5 games, right? I hope we played 5 overall. I'm honestly, I'm not too sure right now. Let's go ahead and go in and check out the list again, though. Here's the deck list again, guys. Oh, buddy. Okay, what would I do? All right. I would drop a Myrel and go up the 3rd King Darien. It could be risky sometimes. I think you're not going to have too many issues finding the other, like the green sources that you need, or the Plaza, of course, helps you cast out the King. I think the Myrel is a little bit too slow right now for what we're seeing. Like, can you imagine actually just landing a Myrel against mono red? No, you're going to die next turn to whatever mono red is doing, and so you just need a lot more faster things on your board to try to deal with it, more creatures overall. But it's still worth the one of. It's still a very powerful soldier that still does a lot against a lot of other builds too, so I would drop one, go up that 3rd King Darien, just so that way when you are splashing the green, there's a lot more in here to actually be worth your while. You know, 4 cards total instead of the 3. So that's what I would do. I think having the Who Endures in here is fine, but we did see how that slows us down when we do have to use it as mana. You can't do things like play a Harbin and a Recruitment Officer all on the same turn, so that's really something to think about. Anything else? Yeah, Thalia is still terrific, but I wouldn't go up to 4 of them. Nope, I think 3 is right where you want it because it is a legendary creature, but I do see some people rocking 4 of them. I can see why. Getting it down on turn 2 and holding up the opponent's entire game is a lot, like against that Rot Priest deck, for example. Just making everything cost 1 more is just insane. Making all the removal cost 1 more is insane. I get it. I know why people are rocking 4 of them. I like it at 3. I think it still gets pumped into your hand a lot, so nice. At all the different legendary creatures, working with the Plaza of Heroes was awesome. Harbin is just so powerful. Just a 2 mana 3/2 flyer is already pretty solid, but then that ability, man, when you're wrapping up games with it. We got to see our single Skrelv do something too against the mono red deck. Just having that ability to be able to give hexproof to something is huge. Like, maybe you don't want them to remove your King Darien with their Infernal Grasp. You give the King Darien protection with the Skrelv. You give it hexproof to black, and then the Infernal Grasp doesn't hit it, and now your board stays nice and buffed. Also, King Darien doesn't just buff soldiers, it buffs all your cards, so it does give a little buff to the Skrelv too, but everything else is a soldier, so that doesn't really matter anyways. It was nice starting to see like the double Valiant Veterans. The last couple times I've played soldiers, I'm pretty sure this card just hit itself in the deck where, you know, every time you go up against soldiers, you're like, yeah, man, if they just get that one more board buff off the top here, and it's Valiant Veteran, or the Recruitment Officer immediately finds a Valiant Veteran or something like that. So it was really nice to actually see that today where we were drawing the Valiant Veterans as well, which was, yeah, just good. Yotian Frontliner is just disgusting. The way it lets you kind of play around what your opponent is doing with blockers is really good. Just amazing, actually. And then the Unearthed, I don't think came up today, but it very well could, so. As for the Recruitment Officer, having that 4 mana ability to look at the top 4 cards of your library, you may reveal a creature card with mana value 3 or less from among them, could potentially be another reason to drop down to the 1 Myrel, since it is 4 mana. And so if you do have that 3rd King Darien and everything, then at least you're pretty much hitting something no matter what, and probably something very valuable. We see opponents hit like Brutal Cathars with it and stuff like that just to find that extra piece of removal. While we didn't use the ability's there, and it is a very, very powerful one overall. Jawbone Duelist, you don't need the toxic, you don't need a whole poison brew to just have the Duelist be decent because it's a soldier and it gets buffed with Valiant Veteran. You plug counters into it with the Siege Veteran. You got King Darien buffing everything. You got the Frontliner giving it like extra. So I really like the Duelist. I would have loved to see it do more today. Overall, we just kind of saw the other soldiers take the spotlight, but I mean, that's totally fine, huh? Yeah, Bant Soldiers. I just feel like it did a lot. It was great to win every match. As far as I can remember, we won all the matches, and I think we played 5, which was awesome. It's been a while since I've actually got a full list of 5 games, and we won them all. I think the last time I had 100% win rate in a video. I think we only got like 3 matches in, and it was like a big old chunky mid-range deck, so feels great. Feels awesome. Man, I got all 3 of my videos done for the week, and I couldn't be more satisfied with literally all of them. I think I brought it up earlier in the video. We played Orzhov Toxic, which was just ridiculously fun, and then we played Mono Black Rats, which was also ridiculously fun, and now, while Soldiers isn't necessarily like the most fun thing to play, and it's not like the most shiny and sparkling, right, because we still see a lot of Zorus Soldiers, it's still great to win. And we're not just playing the Azura Soldiers, since we got the King Darien, which actually made that appearance so much today too. I'm so happy with this week's videos. For the weekend, I'm thinking of wrapping up hopefully some Discord suggestions. That's the plan for the weekend. Hopefully I get those wrapped up. Speaking of the Discord, guys, always feel free to drop suggestions and challenges, and I do apologize if I never actually get around to them, but I do try to get around to as many as possible. I have a couple extra minutes here at the end to talk about it, so I thought I'd bring it up real quick. Yeah, feel free. Drop as many suggestions and challenges as you want. Just don't feel bad if I end up not getting around to them. But I do try to get around to as many as possible, and then sometimes I want to play with my own builds too. Like today, for instance, this wasn't a Discord challenge or a suggestion. It's just something I threw together once and really wanted to try it out. So that's why sometimes we don't get around to them, but most of the time we do. Okay, guys, enough rambling, huh? If you made it this far into the video, then y'all are champions for real. I super duper appreciate you. I'm gonna go back and watch parts of the video to see how many matches we actually played and if we won them all, because I think we did, which is awesome. So, all right, guys, I will see you in the next video.